silently, unless you're a Copa Centenario fan, as I am, heading up to the Meadowlands on Sunday to watch some soccer on the backside of Messi in the United States, getting it going in Houston. This guy here has been watching the National Basketball Association for many, many years, and I enjoyed the seventh game as much as this guy out on Twitter. He is our Thursday host here from 3 to 5 on the Sunday Sports Voice, the SSV on WNST, as well as one of our long sponsors here and a sponsor of our WNST tech service. That Cleveland had a parade, a championship, because I'm pretty sure everybody knew. I know you were watching the game on Sunday night. What an unlikely, incredible story for Cleveland, for LeBron, and for the NBA, really.
Yeah, you really can't script this kind of stuff, Nestor. You can't make this kind of stuff. It's real life. It's real life drama. Browns, or Cleveland rather, the city of Cleveland won a championship 1964 when the Browns beat the Colts, and that's when I was born. So it's been a very long time since Cleveland has anything to celebrate. And it was great that they did it with basketball, the drama, the storyline, LeBron James, all of his haters. Game 7, lots of money for the NBA. Everybody was happy except the people of San Antonio and all those bandwagon fans that make up the Golden State Warriors.
Well, I mean, I think there's bandwagon fans everywhere. You know, when LeBron comes, they're on the bandwagon.
Yeah,
the gym was kind of in Cleveland, and people like a winner, and they certainly have one in Cleveland. Break me down that Game 7 for you, because the script was written for Cleveland to blow it again, right? I mean, to get this far, to come back in Game 5 and 6 and force Game 7 and go back out there. I felt like I had seen before during our lifetime for Cleveland. I mean, neither one of us know what it looks like for Cleveland to win.
Yeah, no question about it. The script was right there. LeBron James looked like he played center in the first half. For him to make that block in the 45th minute, he was exhausted. That big block of 8 to pull it out. For me, Nestor, it was great because back in the preseason, I did predict the Cavaliers in 7 games. A lot of people laughed at me, and even when they made it to the finals, they thought that Golden State would walk all over them. But I went back to last year when Cleveland took 2 games before they lost 4. They didn't have Kevin Love. They didn't have Kyrie Irving. They were both injured. And LeBron just willed this team to victory. 3 rings in the last 6 years. Strategically speaking, I couldn't understand why Steph Curry was on the bench the first 3 minutes of the fourth period. I don't know if he was hurt. I don't know what Steve Kerr was thinking about. But, if I'm going to lose a Game 7, Nestor, I'm going to lose it with all my best players on the floor, getting every single minute out of them. They would have to tell me, Coach, take me out before I would even think about taking them out. So, but again, you couldn't ask for any better than that. 2:50 left, and it's 89-89. You can't make in front of a national television. It had to be the highest-rated game, I would think, in NBA history.
It's been the highest-rated game in 20-some years. Wow. It was back in the 90s that, one of the Jordan years was in the same sort of rarefied era. But, one of the problems, all these games have been blowouts, right? And until you get a close game in a Game 7, none of the games were close, really not ever. Game 6, Golden State was kind of in that game at the end in Cleveland and had a chance. But once it got to Game 7 and, once you saw what Kyrie Irving was doing in Game 5 and 6, just a huge part of this, and there won't be a statue for him built, but just a huge, huge part of having that extra guy that you talked about that he didn't have last year in the finals.
Yeah, no question about it. It was very much a legacy game for LeBron James, and the conversation the next few days will be, where does he rank among the greats? To me, he's a top 5 player in NBA history. He can play all 5 positions. He makes everybody around him better. He's not an alpha type of a player, but can you imagine him on the same team with Jordan and some of those guys? And now what happens is, they'll have a chance to celebrate, but does he stay in Cleveland? Does he? He has so many options at his disposal, still being very young, relatively speaking. He can still win more rings and add more rings to his collection and more trophies and more championship trophies. And even the notion that he wasn't the best player in the NBA is false. He was the real MVP. People said Kyrie Irving. No. Kyrie Irving was an offensive player, but LeBron, he set a record for most points, most steals, most rebounds, most assists, most blocks. Who does that, Nestor? And who doesn't deserve that trophy of the most valuable player more so than LeBron James?
Any thoughts for Cleveland? I mean, have you spent any appreciable amount of time there or have some friends in Cleveland? I mean, through the 25 years of stealing their football team, playing their baseball team, being in the same division, I used to go out there in the 90s when I was single. I got ex-girlfriends out there, guys I went to college with, guys that work with me, obviously media friends, and they're all so proud of Cleveland. They go out of their way to make a point that they're from Cleveland in the same way you and I and many of us would claim Baltimore in the same way. But there's a different thing about claiming Cleveland when you've never won, and they've all sort of laughed about it, and I think really deep down, none of them ever believed this was going to happen.
Yeah, history was against them for sure. They haven't done it in 52 years, and I like Cleveland. I've been out there a couple of times. It's a blue-collar town. A lot of good people are out there. I have empathy for them. We understand what it's like to have our team ripped from our hearts, and the only good thing for them was they were only out of football for 3 years. We were out of football for 13 years. And so I do feel for them as a much maligned fan base. But, hey, I'm sure they had a big celebration that's going to continue throughout the whole week, and they deserve a kudos. And I tell you what, it was just a great, you couldn't have scripted it any better if you're an NBA fan. And the good thing about us, Nestor, we didn't have a dog in the fight. I mean, come on, let's face it, it's Golden State or Cleveland. So, look, I wasn't going to be too upset had the Cavaliers lost, but it's just nice to see them win something after 52 years.
We are chatting with Dennis Kolatzis. He is the SSV on WNST out on Twitter. And, I know we're talking some Game 7, but you also did the Father's Day thing. Happy Father's Day to you on the backside of that.
Likewise.
I had a quiet day, and, I certainly sat around and watched the Orioles play. And you liked the blue uniforms, did you? Maybe I'd have liked it if we were playing like the Oakland A's or something, but playing the Blue Jays in blue uniforms, I like marketing. You're a marketer. I'm a marketer. Sometimes it goes a little over the top for me.
Yeah, I wish they had matching hats. I know it was they gave away the newspaper boy baseball cap, the newspaper boy cap at the yards, and I guess that wasn't that big of a deal because not many fathers were wearing that cap. I backed out the last minute. Chose to stay home and watch the U.S. Open, and so I had a really good Father's Day watching the U.S. Open and watching the finals. Also, there was some WWE action at night, the Money in the Bank. There was also the Game of Thrones. So everybody on Twitter and social media had multiple TVs and smart devices, iPads open, watching 3 or 4 events at the same time.
Well, it's been a lot of that going on here, and I don't have to worry so much about that especially once the soccer is over this week. I've had so many nights, Dennis, where we've had NBA playoff games, NHL playoff games, Oriole games, soccer games, NFL draft. I mean, it's been kind of difficult to just focus on one thing. The good news is the Baltimore Orioles are in first place, and they can be our sole focus for the rest of the summer. Not playing great baseball. I don't know that we're all bought in that we're going to have a parade here this year, but I'm pretty bought in that the team's going to stay relevant, and I'm also bought in that the rest of the American League East is in no position to run away with anything right now.
Yeah, I mean, Sunday the ball was flying out of the yard, 19 hits, I believe, and 11 runs. They can certainly hang in there with anybody, slug it out. It becomes a slugfest, and again, it's the same story. If the starting pitching holds up, that's been the theme for the season. Good things will happen September and October for this club, but it'll be great.
All right, tell everybody what you got going on over at Coons Florida Security Boulevard, because I do know these 90-degree days either say one of two things: AC or ragtop, or maybe the third thing that you and your son have tried to talk me into, which is cooled-off seats. You have chill seats at Coons Ford, correct?
Yeah, those chilled seats. It does take a little bit of time to get used to them, Nestor. But you know what? Once you have them, it's one of those creature comforts that you'll never want to be without. But having said that, had a great weekend of business, great week of business. Lots of Mustangs. We're the number one volume Mustang dealer on the East Coast. People are flying in, taking the train, taking the bus to get here because we're saving them thousands of dollars. I've got 750 brand new vehicles in stock, 250 pre-loved vehicles in stock. We're just, again, thanks to all of our partners out there. We get a lot of repeat referral business. WNST, WNST.net's a big driver for what we do, and business has never been better. 0% for 60 months, still available. You can get 1.9 for 72. Big discounts. We have a big 4th of July sale coming up as well. And and everybody's a sports fan too, Nestor. That's the other thing. When they come in, they want to talk sports. They want to talk Orioles. They want to talk basketball, golf. And we do have a lot of fanatics here all over the place. No shortage of fans. at Coons Baltimore Ford.
Yeah, it was golf on Sunday, and with Father's Day and with blue uniforms and with the NBA, I'm getting my rock interviews all together. I've been working on that, putting that stuff up on Facebook. It's crazy. I got these interviews, Dennis. They've been in a box for 25 years. I've never listened to them. And to hear a 20-year-old version of me try to talk to the guys in Sticks, it is, the fanboy in me comes out. Let me put it to you that way. You'll have plenty of laughs if you tune in July.
Oh, I'm sure. And it's the audio vault is a great source of information. That's my go-to place for all my data as I do research throughout the week, and it's all fresh stuff. Even when you go back and listen to some old stuff, you learn so much about. You can have a great reference point as the way things are today.
It's funny. Dennis DeYoung from Styx was a huge Chicago White Sox fan. He was a huge fan of my cousin, and I haven't listened to this interview since 1990. And wow. I put it on Monday morning, and I'm going through it. And all we did was talk about the White Sox of 1990. So the conversation was, hey, have you been to the new Comiskey Park yet? Yeah, I hear they're building a nice stadium in Baltimore. Yeah, we're going to have it open in a couple of years. It'll be really nice. How about that Frank Thomas? He's a rookie. I think he's going to be something. What do you think? Yeah. Well, Yvonne Calderon and Rock Reigns, the conversations that you hear when you talk about baseball in 1990 with a rock star, I'm leaving all that stuff in because I think it'll create some laughter for some of you in July.
Well, I think it's good stuff. And sports, too. When you think about, WrestleMania with Cyndi Lauper and whatnot, and how much music has spent to sports, the theme songs, introduction songs, the songs that we all rally around. So definitely sports and music have intertwined forever, and that's also another good point.
Every NBA or
oh, they do. And how about I go back to Jordan and his introduction with the Bulls when they turn out the lights and you get that music going in there. Man, it was just insane. And how about Ray Lewis's introduction? Hot in here. All these things take us back to a special place in time, and that's what music does. It creates those inroads, and it sears those memories in our brain, indelible memories.
It gave me a chance to play Who Let the Dogs Out when we brought stage last month, so I'll tell you that much. Dennis Kalatzis can be found at the SSV on WNST. He's also here each and every Thursday driving you home from 3 until 5. Last thing for you, Dennis, just for levity's sake. I woke up on Monday morning. I went to bed at close to 2 o'clock after the game because I did some Monday morning radio, and I woke up, and next thing I know, J.R. Smith's got his shirt off, LeBron's there, Kevin Love, they're all pouring champagne on each other in Vegas, right? So you think to yourself, if I had $250 million and 3 rings and I won again, what would I do after winning in the Bay Area on the way back to Cleveland? I'd point the plane towards right?
You know what? They had some really good problems Sunday night, Nestor, Monday morning. Those are first world problems, and like I tell people, not all problems are bad. Sometimes you have good problems, just like us. Sunday night was great for a sports fan because your attention was all over the place, and like you, I'm kind of looking forward to just pump it and break a little bit. Let myself all a UFC event, some Summer Olympics, just where I'm not under the gun. And my attention span is on 2 or 3 or 4 things at the same time. And thank goodness we have Twitter and iPads, our cell phones and smart devices and multiple TVs these days that we're able to watch multiple events.
You know what I need is a beach right now. I need water, some adult refreshments is probably what I need. That says summer to me. But I'm hanging in there, and I really have enjoyed watching my Cleveland friends have a little bit of fun for once in their lives because Lord knows they've been a bunch of miserable people for a long time. So I hope this brings them some joy and happiness.
Yeah, what do we call their football team? The Factory of Sadness. Who wants to be saddled with that moniker? The Factory of Sadness, really? But here, NFL. And that's a big deal.
Well, yeah, and that's over with now. So now it's on to the Browns, or as I tweeted moments after they won, well, you didn't expect the Browns to do it for you, Cleveland. So,
well, we call them the Stains for a reason. That's the other nickname we give the Browns, and that's one team I never want to see rise in our division. We have enough on our hands as Ravens fans with the Steelers and the Bengals. They're both formidable opponents with real in front offices, particularly Pittsburgh. So the last thing we need is the Browns to rise up and make it even harder for us to get into the playoffs.
Hey, great having you on, Den. We'll check in. We'll hit you here on Thursday between 3 and 5.
Thanks a lot, Nestor.
Dennis Kolatzis from Coons Ford of Security Boulevard, doing it out there on the west side and bringing it to everybody in Baltimore on Thursdays from 3 until 5. They also, of course, sponsor our WNST Tech service for any breaking news. It comes directly in real time, and it's free and easy to sign up, and nobody does it better than Luke in running that thing. You can find me out in the Bayou Toyota Audio Vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn Radio app. You can also find me nasty at WNST.net from wherever you are, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, anywhere you are, we are, WNST.net, AM 1570 and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports. Thanks, Dan.